Okay, welcome. So, before we begin, I want to do a quick moment of silence for um, the Holy Father, Pope Francis. God bless his soul. Okay, all right. Welcome, everyone. This is Doc G coming at you live and direct. So, it's been one type of show. Teams that have been winning that should not have won, and we have other teams that just surprised us. So, this is one crazy playoff so far. First game, first round, and let's talk about it. I'll check you out in a minute. First off, happy Easter. Welcome to Doc G's Live and Direct. I want to take a side for that. But on a more different note, I want to talk about these playoffs. Okay, so the playoffs have been surprising, at the least surprising, because of how they turned out. First, let's go to the East. In the East, let's look at the first game. Looking at the stats. Cleveland, number one, against the 8th seed, which is the Heat. So right off the bat, my choices, obviously Cleveland's going to come out of this series. I'm thinking about four-game sweep, or the gentleman's sweep, which is 4 and lose 1 game, right? 5-game series. That's my choice, right? They're going to win the first 2 games. Maybe they get one on the road, and then they win the next 2. First 2 Cleveland, next one will be Heat, and the last 2 will be Cleveland. And how they turned out was exactly that. Cavaliers came off, they blew them out 121-100. At some point in the fourth quarter, it got pretty close, and that's because of Spoelstra's zone defense. His zone defense kind of slowed him down. Be sure to expect it in game 2. You'll probably see the zone defense, not the typical high school zone or college zone, but made for the pros. All right, but I'm thinking Cleveland is going to sweep them up. Not too much here. I mean, they still need somebody else. Heat needs somebody else in a consistent basis that can bring in the heat. Right? All right. Next teams. Let's look at Boston. Boston Celtics have been, of course, surprising. I wasn't too, like I said, I think Orlando has some great stars in it, right? But could they contest with Boston? No, Boston is just too perfected together. Like Cleveland, there's just too much. It's just too much for the teams who they're facing. And even though Orlando is good, they don't have enough to surpass Celtics or even make it a series. So I'm thinking about 5 games. Again, gentlemen's sweep, no more than that. If they go past game 5, that's a big surprise. All right. Because Boston just has too much defense, has too much offense. You have Tatum, which is damn near the next person who will be the face of the league, and then you have Brown, right, and you have Derek White, and a couple of people who are good offensive forces. You know, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are 2 of the dynamic duo, right? But this 2 duo is quite close. I think Jason Brown is pretty good. All right, let's look at the next team in the East. All right, so next team in the East, we got my New York Knicks. New York Knicks have been playing fantastic this season, right? They ranked 3, and they faced up against Detroit, and they played a pretty solid game. The last game, high scoring, 123 points over the Pistons, 112. Just like I said, Jaylen Brunson did an offensive great job. If he continues, Knicks will be on his way. I'm thinking about a game 6 because we have Cade Cunningham, who is lethal. You have to snuff him out quick, because if he gets heat, if this team that is young, when they get momentum, they could be a problem. So you have to take them out early. This team can cause problems for the Knicks if they don't come together. All right, so Anunoby has to keep doing what he's doing. As long as the Knicks play a good game, they should be fine. So I'm thinking 5 games, 6 games. I do see the Pistons probably giving them some trouble, but the Knicks will overcome that and win this series either in 6 games or in 5 games. Okay, now we have Indiana and Milwaukee. So Milwaukee has been pretty much okay. I mean, we have a funny situation out in Milwaukee, and we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Really, just doing what he has to do. He's the star for that team. He's a star. I think he's good where he's at. If he starts moving, I think that takes away from his star power. If he goes to a bigger market, I mean, that's what they're talking about. That maybe he goes to a different market, bigger market, because of his name. Listen, Damian Lillard on his team, is it the best tandem? They're still working through it. They did lose the first game against the Pacers, right? So we have Indiana Pacers lead the Bucks, right, 1-0. This may go to Game 6 or Game 7. I think it can go either way if Milwaukee has his way. But I'm looking toward Indiana winning. Right, Indiana will probably win this in 6-7. This should be one of those series that goes almost all the way through. All right, so now we got the West Coast. Let's go to the West Coast. In the West, who we got here? The first one we have here is we have none other than Oklahoma versus the Memphis. Now, Memphis came off. Let's talk about them. They obliterated Dallas. Dallas had no shot. We had AD, who showed up. Right? He dropped 40, but it wasn't enough. The rest of the team did not do what they had to do. He was basically by himself. And Memphis had their way with Dallas, and Dallas is now sitting at home. And AD is getting much needed rest. He showed them what he can do. Now, when Kyrie comes back and the rest of the team is up to full health, full strength, we'll see what's going to happen next year. But now, since they're out of the way, let's look at Memphis. Memphis versus OKC. It was a joke. I say that, a joke. Let's look at the score. No. You do not understand. The score was 131. That's regular, right? That's regular. To 80. 51-point blowout. It was like an all-star game. Oklahoma destroyed. Thanos snapped, ethered, whatever you want to call it, destroyed Memphis. It was done. This series is a sweep. Next. And looking at this game, pretty much anybody in the West is done. They remind me of the Chicago Bulls back in '96. No one could contend with them. They have the youth, they have the skill, the talent. SGA is going to be the MVP for this season. Hands down, he's MVP. The team is among the great teams of all time. No one's going to touch them. They're winning the championship this year. Denver did what they had to do. And shout out to Russell Westbrook. Finally, give him his flowers. Back in 2021, I was excited for him to be on the Knicks. And man, that was the worst year I have ever seen any basketball player go through. I was happy he got traded. Not for my Lakers, but for him. And ever since then, his stocks have been rising up. He's been doing much better. And it was good to see him really play ball and show what playoff Westbrook is all about. All right, but they won that series. I mean, they won that game against the Clippers. Then it's going to be a tight series. I mean, my pick is going to be I would like the Nuggets to win. And how they played that day, that first game, is going to be the Nuggets over Clippers. So Nuggets will be the Clippers in about 6 games, maybe 7. It's going to be a tight series because we have Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, he's been playing good, and he's back. In the last few years, I have not seen him play in the playoffs. He is a champion. He is a Finals MVP. So let's see what happens. Then we got my Lakers. Man, that was very upsetting for me personally to watch my Lakers lose like that. But they lost against Timberwolves. The Lakers need to wake up. Stop relying on the Luka, LeBron show. Everybody needs to play. They're already in there now. Timberwolves are hungry, awake. They got the win, and guess what? You got them started. Now you're going up an uphill battle in your own turf, and they could do it. I see Lakers now winning in 6 games or 7, but they need to turn it around. It is not going to be easy. There is a coin toss, pretty much who comes to play. And right now it's Minnesota. Minnesota is coming to play, and they're ready to play ball. I'm going to give it to the Lakers. They're going to come out playing, especially with Luka. Luka, he's a winner. He's not a quitter. He takes up any challenge, and I think LeBron takes that cue, and he follows him. Next team, Warriors and Rockets. This is also going to be a tight series. We're looking at 6 to 7 games. Watch out. Rockets will come back. They will come back strong. You saw how they were playing Steph Curry. I don't think Steph can take that type of defense for the whole series. This will slow him down eventually. If they do it in game 2, look for the Rockets, for the Houston to get their first W in the series. Game 2, I will give it to the Rockets, but I'm gonna give the series. To Golden State. It will be 6-7 games. Golden State pushing more 7 if Golden State wins. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's the wrap up for the East and the West. I hope you guys locked in. I hope you guys got your picks. Get your picks. My pick for the whole thing is going to be OKC. I would love it to be LA Lakers versus New York Knicks. That would be a fantastic finals. But however, we see, Knicks will probably get out in the second round. I don't see them going to the conference, especially with we have Boston, who they have to beat. That's going to be the next round for them. It's going to be Boston versus Knicks. That's going to be a very fun series. And then we'll have Cleveland versus Pacers, but I think Pacers will lose out to Cleveland. That's going to be Cleveland's going to have a nice road to the playoffs, right up to the Eastern Conference Finals, which will go a tough series between Boston, 7 games. I'm going to give that out to my pick will be Boston, and from that pick we'll go Boston versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to take it. They're going to take it. If they go against Boston, they're going to take it in 6. If they go against Cleveland, they're going to take it in 7. All right, and that's what I have for the show today. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll check you out. Much love and respect.